Okay. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another podcast of Earth and Body Ecosystems, where we bridge the gap between the Earth for our body surrounding us. And I did that backwards, but that's okay. I'm going for it. So, but my friend Joyce is not with us today. She's in Louisiana and she's in one of the hard hit areas. She's okay, but she has no internet, no electricity, but she's all right. So that's the main thing. Her house is all right. Trees are down and everything, but she's okay. So I am going to read my guest. I have Miss Sierra Bender with us, and I am so pleased that she agreed to do this podcast with me. So I'm going to read a little bit about her. Sierra's story. Emerging from a body that was pronounced dead on Christmas Eve, 1995, rose the spirit of a woman warrior, a strong-willed and compassionate and fearless entity. During her conversations with God, Sierra was asked 4 questions and was shown her path and purpose. Although she could not give birth to children, she gave birth to the 4 Body Fit method. The 4 Fit Body Fit method became a movement of women's empowerment workshops and retreats and created the 4 body trend. The 4 Fit body method has been clinically proven by the Department of Psychology and American University, DC, in clinical trials that prove its effectiveness for healing and empowering females of all ages. Sierra's best-selling book, Artist to the Core, and teachings continue to be a catalyst to millions of women and girls to reclaim their power. Sierra is an entrepreneur, advocate, influencer, researcher, life transformer, and best-selling author. Sierra Bender has transformed and inspired the lives of over 5 million women and girls in less than 3 decades. Her book, personal empowerment workshop, retreats, and professional trainings have been featured around the globe, from the United States to Canada, Australia, Germany, Russia, Romania, UK, Mexico, and South America. Miss Bender's insistence on integrity, humility, truth-telling, and love, the full capacity living her 4 Fit body methods and bodies set her above the fray. So that's the net. So welcome, Sierra.
Hey,
So,
Heidi.
so
Wow.
yes, you're an amazing woman. I can attest to that. So what have you been up to and what's going on in your world?
I have been up to, believe it or not, nothing. Self-love is more or less resting, going in, self-healing, taking a break. Yeah, needed, badly needed. Well, as you just read the bio, I've been out there for over 35 years on the front line. It's like, knock, knock, time to stop and rest. And COVID actually was a blessing for me in that way. And, I even said it, before COVID even happened, I did a live and I was saying this was going to happen. And I was feeling it way before it happened. And it was just stop, look, listen, and feel. Like, can't keep going at this pace. You can't keep pushing. And so I'm enjoying it. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what do you think women need to know right now in this moment? What is I'm all about connecting to the earth energy. So what do you think the biggest message that we need to hear?
The biggest message that's coming through, and for my own self-healing is God is coming through the goddess. So meaning, even when I passed over and had my conversation with God in Christ, the goddess is coming through women. And if you the definition, the true definition of a goddess is a woman who's able to channel the light of God to her and through her eyes, through her voice, through her touch, through her body. That's why we're so dang beautiful. And in order to do that, we have to come back into our bodies. We have to come back to the most powerful goddess of all, Mother Earth. And what I've seen through all my research and through the years of doing this is women have to cut off their femininity in order to survive. And we've become more like imitation men. And even though we're empowered, meaning we're independent and we have more choices in these things, we're still frying ourselves out because we're working more in a linear way than we are in a feminine way. So this is what's happening worldwide, is coming back into our femininity, but coming back into the feminine essence of being still, silent, nurturing, listening. And that's exactly what COVID did for all of us. So, Mother Earth, Creator, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, is saying, here's the 2x4 over the head. You're not listening, so I'm going to force you to. And I'm going to force you to go in. And that is the feminine essence, energy, power. So we've all been forced to go in. We've all been forced to look at our itty bitty shitty committee, as I say, look at our pain, look at things that are no longer of service to us, as everyone's using the word essential. It's really getting rid of what's no longer of service.
Absolutely. And when you talk about feminine, that is also no matter if we're male or female, we all have that feminine side within us. So even males, it's time for them to understand the feminine also. It's maybe even more so, but we've all lost that disconnect between the feminine and realizing that the earth is, our mother, and she supports everything that we are. And without her, because we are embodied humans on this planet, and we're just as much as part of this planet as we are embodied. And so I know when you speak that it's all of us have to, I know I've been going through it. It's like all this stuff is coming up, like old injuries, old wounds, and it's not as severe as before, but I've been going through that, and it's like I'm healing myself over and over again from all this old stuff. And then weird stuff happens. And so, yeah, I 100% believe that we really need to have a mantra to honor our planet, especially, and have her go easy on us and stuff. What do you think, if Mother Earth had a voice, what would she say to us?
Come home.
Yeah.
Come home. That's why I always say the song, even the song Pachamama that I sing, she's calling us. Pachamama, I hear you calling. I hear you calling. So the divine mother essence is calling us to come home, and through the whole Aquarian time, Piscean time, the Piscean time was the warrior time. Now it's the goddess time. The Aquarian time is bringing, the pendulum is now swinging back into balance of like, we can be both the goddess and the warrior. And that's what women have the strength and power to do. Men don't. They're more linear, one dimension. And so we as women are multidimensional, but what we've done is become so heavy and so in our heads that we've only become one dimensional. And we've been forced to be so linear because of our culture. And so it's hard for us to say, hey, I want to be multidimensional. I'm like a diamond, a diamond shines light. A diamond can cut through glass, stone, anything. And that's the beauty of a beautiful goddess warrior who's really in tune with her power. So you can't only have half of the equation. So it's easier, even in my research, it's easier for women to be more in tune with the warrior because it's more about surviving. And because statistics of sexual assault and abuse are so high, so is mental health. We've been forced to be in this space of always surviving, but never in a space of self-love, never in a space of reflection, never in a space of really doing the work to heal down to your DNA, which you have to connect to Mother Earth. And I'm Indigenous, I'm Native, and you have to connect to the earth in order and connect to the physical body in order to heal, fully heal down to your DNA. Otherwise, you could do the work, you can think about it, you could do it mentally, you could do it emotionally, you could do it spiritually, but the physical body is the most dense. And that's what we're feeling. It's like decay on your teeth. You're getting rid of all the decay that's been built up. And that's what happens. A lot of us think we're done with the work, and then the body's like, wait a second, you're really not done. There's more. And you're like, you've got to be kidding me. You know, and no matter how much you have the tools, even myself, I've been doing this for so long. I'm like, dang, all right, just go in, just do it. You know, you have the tools. And Spirit, Creator, God is holding us accountable right now. We can't sit on the fence. It's coming at us so strong. But the beauty of it is if you do the work, you're seeing the results so much quicker. And you're seeing the abundance coming in so much quicker because you're creating the space in the temple, in the vessel. So if this vessel is not vibrating at what I want to manifest, what I desire, require, and deserve, there's no way you're going to be able to hold it. And that's why you sabotage it, or that's why you can't hold it, because the container can't hold it. So you can think it, you could will it, you could feel it, but if that's not all in alignment, the four bodies, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and physical, well, then you're not aligned, then you will have a really hard time with manifestation. So that's where people are. You know, we're doing the work spiritually, mentally, we're being forced actually by Spirit, but you have to get into the physical parts of it. And why we want to flee is because, of course, the brain doesn't want to go back to the pain. You know, that's what the brain's job is to do. Don't go back, don't go back, don't go back. But that was maybe trauma that you had from childhood, from abuse, trauma maybe from a car accident, trauma maybe from a birthing experience, whatever it is. But you have to go back because now your emotional intelligence has grown from doing the work. And now you're able to handle some of the trauma or some of the work where it's not going to be so excruciating as the first hit when it did hit you, when you had the trauma. And so that's why you have to be brave enough to turn around and face it and just be like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. The ego wants to make it 1,000 times worse than it is, right? The fear. And so that's what my work has always been about. Turn around and face it. And you know, you may have not had a voice at 5 years old, at 10 years old, at 15, at 20, whatever the situation may have been, but now you do. So when I say now you do, now you're an adult, you can handle it as an adult. You have more freedom, you have more choices, you're more intelligent, you're in a different space and place of your life. And that's how you heal it.
Yes, and that's what I'm all about, is using my voice. And it's taken me a while. It's taken time. For those of you who don't know, I took Goddess to the Core, I think it was 2010. It was a while ago. So
when the book came out.
When the book came out, yes, it was. You just, yes, I remember you just barely had published the book. So, and so I went to that, and I had talking about, you know, obstacles, self-sabotage. I hurt my ankle. You know, this is one of my MOs when it's something, you know, I'm going to go do something tough. So I had injured my ankle, and we were in the class, we were breaking boards with a foot. And I'm like, well, I can't balance that well on my foot. So usually that's how you teach people, but I ended up doing it with my hand, and we wrote on our board what one thing was, what we wanted to get rid of, and what we wanted to manifest. And mine was using my voice for Mother Earth, because I knew that was important.
Oh, wow.
So it took me a while, and some friendships and some cleansing and getting rid of junk before I started to start this podcast with my friend. And the name came right away. It's like it just popped into my head, you know, and I was like, yes, it's about the earth and the body, because we're all connected. So I can attest to that. Sometimes it takes longer than we think it will, but never give up, because eventually it's going to come around. And I have felt forced, and I'm laughing, my dog singing in the background.
Yeah. You get the 2x4, as I say, from Spirit over the head, like, wake up. And you're
yes.
Like, okay.
Yes, exactly. I did. And this is a rock. The last 2 years has really been hard for me, because It's like I thought I knew how to navigate the world, and now it's changed. And so, and I thought I was pretty well grounded, and I'm surprised I'm not as grounded, but I'm still able to move forward and accomplish things. But it just seems like I'm in mud, and everything's a little bit harder than it was. Like,
Oh, it is, because as the earth is healing, as we're healing, as I say, the opposite force is right behind you. That's just the balance of yin and yang. So we are accelerating so quickly to heal as a planet, as people, as our consciousness is rising, the new dimensions, but as is the other side. So it's like, that's why it feels like you're like swimming upstream right now, is because you have to do the work to raise the vibration. So if you're still having a heavy vibration inside of your body because of trauma, because of held back emotions, because of not doing the work, because of not being in your body, because of not exercising, because of not moving, well, then, yeah, you're going to feel it even heavier because it's so much stronger. So it's just a law of energy, and you just have to move. You have to keep the energy moving. And we've become so stagnant as a society. And, that's just so unhealthy. That's why there's so many people are sick. So many people are sick, and mental illness is through the roof. It's just insane because people are living up here. They don't want to live in the container, because if I have to live in the container, I have to be human. If I have to be human, then I have to feel. If I have to feel, oh my God, I have to emotions, then I have to take responsibility for those emotions. You can feel the anxiety. Oh my gosh, I don't want to feel all that. I don't want to be here. And so that's painful. That's very painful. But which one's more painful? Right. Walking through the fire or dying? A part of you's dying every single day because you're trying to outrun it, outsmart it, and you're not. So, that's the part that self-love is fierce and compassionate. So the fierceness says, I can't live like this any longer. I can't suffer like this any longer. I'm walking through the fire. What does that mean? Walking through the fire means I have to be connected to spirit, above, below, and within, period.
No matter what you call your higher power, your spirit, no matter what you name that higher power or that power within, that's what you got to go to.
Yeah, you have to stay aligned, and it's hard, you're human. But as I always tell my girls and everyone I work with, you measure your success, how fast you get back into alignment. So for instance, if something happens that a breakup with your husband or a partner or a loss, grief or something, and normally it would have taken you 6 months to get over it, or you would have been, more, gaining weight or doing all these things to stuff your grief or to stuff your emotions, right? Now it takes you, okay, I'm going to give this 1 month. I'll grieve. This is really hard for me. This really hurt. Where do I take responsibility in this? How did I track this? Where was I when I attracted this person or situation? Where do I take responsibility for what is this teaching me? And you will get out of it faster, and you will get in alignment faster, because no one or nothing's doing anything to you. It's just what you're attracting in order to learn. So if I could change my perception and look at it that way, that is the intelligence of love. That is my method. There are no victimizations here. Victimization means to sacrifice yourself. I will not sacrifice myself. And I always say to myself, I'm not giving my power away. So that's my healthy ego. I'm not going to give my anger. I'm not going to allow that person to still stay in my mind and my heart, to have that much control over my mind or my heart, my emotions, which is giving my power away. So if I can forgive myself, I can forgive the other person. I could look at what the lesson was learned, karma. Why did I attract this person? Where was I again when I attracted this person? Where was I emotionally? Where was I financially? Did you just jump in because it was easier? So those are the deep, deep questions you have to ask yourself, so that you will never be victimized, and you own it. You own it. And you will move through that pain much faster. You will move through whatever it is. And then also by doing that, you're healing it. You're not going to attract it again.
basically, the core of that is responsibility, taking responsibility for yourself in
Yes.
every way, shape, or form, because actually there's nobody out there really else looking out for you. You have to be responsible for you and how you navigate the world, and responsible how you react, and not giving anybody any power over you at all.
No, and I always say when I passed over, which created the method, the 4-body fit method, it's based on the intelligence of love and the 4 bodies, because I was asked the 4 questions, but I was told love is not just an emotion. Love is the most, what? Love is not just an emotion. Excuse me. Love is not just an emotion. It is the most powerful force in the universe, grounded by action and responsibility. So again, love is not just an emotion, Sierra. This is what God told me. Christ told me. It is the most powerful force in the universe, grounded by action and responsibility. And then, Sierra, where are you not loving you? Stop blaming everybody else. What's going on? Point the finger towards you. Where are you not loving you? Where are you giving your power away? That's victimization. And we live in a culture of victimization. That's why drugs, alcohol, mental illness is so high. I don't want to be responsible for my own happiness.
Yeah.
And people get pissed off at me when I say that. Believe me, I know what depression is. Believe me, I've been into hell and back many times. But I won't give my mind that power. And I understand some people have imbalances and it's not enough serotonin in the brain. And I understand trauma very well. Been through it myself many a times. However, what has saved me was the earth, the indigenous practices, meditation, power of prayer. And you have to do the work. You have to work it. And you have to do the physical work. The physical work. You have to work it out of your body. And I mean, not just working out. I mean, sit underneath a tree, meditate, be quiet, get your belly button to the earth, do a ceremony, sweat lodge, do a vision quest, do these amazing rituals and ceremonies that natives have known for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, that help people heal trauma, help people heal depression, help people heal cancer, because it's the spirit is sick first. The spirit is out of alignment first. Your spirit is sick. Where to disconnect from God, spirit creator, because then the spiritual body talks to the mental body. And then the itty bitty shitty committee comes in, the fear. And then that talks to the emotional body. So how you think is how you feel. How you feel is how you behave. How you behave is what you're going to manifest. And then the emotional body speaks to the physical body. So it is that simple. It is not complicated. And when I passed over and God asked me those 4 questions, it was like, Sierra, why did you disconnect from me? When did you disconnect from me? When did you stop talking to me? I'm like, wow, I remember, you're a little girl, you talk to God all the time. You look at a plant, you look at that curiosity. How is the world made? You look at the bees and you look at everything in nature and you look at human beings. It's like, how does that ever exist? That curiosity and that connection to spirit and animals and everything that's around you. And, I used to talk to God all the time, spirit through nature. And, nature was my God as a child. And then, your intuition was always on. Serotonin is always being released into your brain when you're in nature. And then I remember I stopped asking for help. I stopped praying. I stopped talking to God. That's when I knew, well, of course I come from abuse. So why would you believe in God?
Yep.
So right there, right? As a child and mentally, what were the belief systems from your culture, through religion, through media that took you further away? Religion that took you further away from the source of my love. Oh, I remember my first day in confession. God, The priest told me I didn't know how to speak to God. I'm like, what do I need you for? You're the middleman. And I got in trouble for saying it because I always had a mouth, and you have humor in it. But that trauma was at a 8-year-old. You understand? The trauma, I was an 8-year-old. Why am I going to hold on to that trauma as an 8-year-old? As a woman, I have a choice. So now when I speak to that 8-year-old or to the little girl who went through the trauma, the fear that she went through, the abuse that she went through, it's this woman that has the ability to protect that part of her. And you have those conversations. That's how you heal trauma. Because otherwise you just keep reacting to the same stimuli over and over and over, the same emotions over and over and over again, that you can call inner child, where you can call whatever, but it's deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. And, emotionally, the next question was emotionally, why do you continually punish yourself not feeling worthy of my love through drugs, alcohol, men, abusive relationships? Oh, hello.
Yep.
Well, you do what you're conditioned to do, what that's it. And then physically, why do you consistently attract the same? Physically, why do you resist my love? Why are you not open to receive my love? Why do you keep picking the same actors and actresses that tell you you're not worthy? Well, again, you're only going to do what you've been conditioned to do. So how are you going to change that conditioning? That's work. That's about self-love and worthiness. And that takes time.
It does take time.
And it takes a commitment.
Commitment is the key, is making a commitment to yourself that I'm worthy, I'm worth it. And I'm going to circle back where you said about coming home. The first time I walked, I'm going to get a little emotional. First time I sat in a sweat lodge, I felt like I had come home.
Yes.
My last name is Feather, but it's not a native name, but it is my given name. But for me, it was like coming home. I felt like I was right where I belong. I'm sorry, I miss that because I haven't been in a long time. So, no, I'm not sorry. I'm a woman and I have emotions.
Emotions are part of being a woman, and it's hitting your soul because it's calling you back.
Yeah, it's calling me back. And it's calling me right now. Yeah.
That's what it does. When you've experienced that deep connection to God, to Creator, to Mother Earth, that's what coming home is like you've gone out of alignment. Come back to me. Yep. Come back to me. Let me hold you. Let me sustain you. Let me feed you. Let me heal you. And that is the purpose of doing these beautiful ceremonies, and because of what has happened in the past with sweat lodges and different things, and people ruin stuff for others because they're not being responsible. And that's the most gorgeous, beautiful ceremony of coming back to the earth, because it's about rebirthing yourself and connecting to Mother Earth.
It's like going in, it's like going into the womb, the dark.
You're going back into the womb.
And it's not that easy. I mean, it's very hot and it's very steamy, but there's something that happens that you transcend time, and you transcend the discomfort, and you find the strength that you didn't realize you had. And before you know it, you've been in a lodge for 2 hours and you wonder where the time went. You're like,
Power of prayer, power of song, power of all the elements, power of the prayer of building it, power of everything's a prayer. Everything is a prayer. Prayer and motion. Everything has a reason. Everything's connected. Everything is building to create that sacred space so that the amazing miracles and healing can occur. And so we miss that, as humans, we miss that. We're using the word tribe just like it's nothing, but it's horrible because it's just used as a marketing word. But the true tribe, what it really means, is that tribal energy of being with people who support you, connect you. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying every tribe, you need an elder that's going to teach you. You need somebody you can tell your deepest, darkest fears to, who will never judge you. You need somebody who's going to teach you so they can pass down on their wisdom to the next generation, right? And then you need a support system. So you need a community, you need other people who support what your medicine is, what your purpose is. That is the true definition of a tribe. Yep. Not like, let's just use it for what have you, you know? So, you know, for me, you know, doing this work is very sacred, and holding the integrity of it is really hard when you're really doing the work and being of service. Yeah. And the higher you grow in being of service, you know, and I know a lot of healers are going through this right now. A lot of people are going through this right now. That opposite force is right behind you, trying to knock you down. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going through as healers right now. People who are doing the work and being of service. If you can't heal yourself, you have no right being out there trying to do it to others, you know. And if you can't do the work yourself to the depth, you know, the wounded healer, as Cyrus was just here. And that's why those of us who've gone through the most pain understand how to get through it, to get through the different dimensions of consciousness, and helping others go through the different levels of consciousness. So it's rough. And if that's the path you choose, you know, it's a shaman's death. You know, you're getting your butt kicked right now to rise to the next level. And I'm feeling it. I'm loving it though, because I know how it works. It's like the snake shedding its skin. It's like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. You know, you got to be still. You got to work with it. You got to feel it. You got to move. It's not about moving. It's about being still and feeling it and releasing it and opening yourself up to allow creator spirit above, below, within to fill you up. It's not about doing so much as it is about reflecting, which is the feminine. Quiet. Feel.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. So
no, because we've been taken away from everything. You know, as you spoke about tribal, and all of us, no matter where we came from at one time, we were all indigenous to okay.
Yeah, native means being born of the land. We are
right.
We are all native. We're all born of a land somewhere, our ancestors. That's what's coming through right now. And it's like a melting pot right now because we have so many different practices, so many different things. But I can say this, being a teacher and doing this for so long, is you want to master one before you can move into the other. Like when I was training, you were not allowed to do more than one, which I liked. The discipline is you have to have this down and embody this before you're allowed to move on to the next level. So I wasn't able to do, okay, let's go do a yoga training over here and let's go do this over here. No, the commitment was, is you finish this. Once you are finished and you know the practice, you become the practice, then you can move on to new tools to another practice. And you have to be careful of how they mix.
Right.
Because, you know, that's the ancestral way of teaching. You know, it's more or less that my teachers, not only have I mastered what they have taught me in the physical plane, the other masters, the other ancestors come with them. So not am I only calling on my teachers, who are amazing, who are absolutely powerful people. I'm also calling on their teachers, which is the ancestral lineage of the teachings. And what has happened today is that it's cut and paste. Let's do this. Let's add this. Let's add that. And you are, in my opinion, and I know this from elders, is you are disrespecting the teachings.
So you want to stick to one teaching and really fully embody that teaching and really get that down, you know, before you go on to another teaching, or like really just learn one teaching, right? And
Correct. It's like Zen when you're doing archery. You don't even pick up the bow.
Right.
The whole thing is your breath, the movement, all of it before you even get the bow in your hand, the towel, right? So it's becoming the energy, learning how it works, learning also how not to abuse it or use it.
Right.
So there's a lot of depth to it. But my point is that as we're all ascending and we're all trying to do the work, bottom line is that you have to go in to do the work. You can't be out there.
Right.
And that's what's happening to a lot of us who are doing the work, who are on that plane of being of service. Don't help anyone right now besides yourself.
Right. We have to.
You need to be strong because we're going up against a lot of forces, and don't be codependent on, thinking that right now you got to go out and save the world. You're being of service the best by embodying it yourself and leading through example.
Right. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. I got something going on. So this has been amazing. Where are you still teaching right now, or what's going on there?
No, I have a Peru trip that's going out right now at August 3rd through the 18th. So I'll be there in Peru. I've got a lot of things coming up, a lot of creativity. So I'll be there. And then the new year, I'll probably come out.
You'll be
sharing what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm so excited to be creative and from being quiet and from connecting. A lot came through, which I'm really excited about, which I'm excited to share in the near future. Yeah.
Oh, one will be looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you. I am too. It's
All right.
And you and your podcast. So now you manifested using your voice, breaking your board.
Yes, exactly. And it's definitely time. We need to talk about things that sometimes are difficult and people don't want to talk about. And do the work. And I'm definitely have to do that. So thank you so much, Sierra, for coming on and talking with us today. It's much appreciated. And thank you everybody for listening, and be back next week for the next podcast. And remember, many blessings. Get out there, be wild, and remember to breathe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heidi. Bye-bye.
Bye.